Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're welcome, and please do not make it your last time of visiting my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, you are most welcome as well. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching us some of the simple sewing calculations you need as a fashion designer. So after watching this video, you should be able to use some of your basic measurements to derive some of the sewing calculations you need as a fashion designer. So if this is something that you really love to learn, please consider to watch this video to the very end, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Is totally free. Let's grow this channel together. Consider to also thumbs up this video so that YouTube can push this video to others who might be interested in watching this video. So let's get right into the tutorial. So I'm going to be starting with this basic body I have here. Okay, so here is my basic body. You can see my shoulder line. I've slanted my shoulder, I've curved my armhole. So this is my chest line, my bust line, my waist line, and my hip line. So you can see it. So the first thing we are going to do is to determine our armhole depth. So to get your armhole depth, you can just divide your shoulder, okay, your shoulder to shoulder measurement, your shoulder divided by 2. Okay, so for me now, my shoulder is 7 inches. So from here to here now is 7 inches. Okay, that is 1 point. Okay, so the number 2 way to get your armhole depth is to divide your bust, okay, your bust line minus 2 inches. So you're going to minus 2 inches upward. Okay, you minus 2 inches upward from your bust line, and it will take you to your, and it will give you your chest line. Okay, so that's it. Now the number 3rd method to get your armhole depth is to divide your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. okay, your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, that will give you your armhole. So for me, my bust divided by 6 is about 5.6. So when I add 5.6 to this, it gives me 7 inches. So my bust 34 divided by 6 plus 1 inch, it gives me 5.5 plus 1.5, so it's equals to 7. So that is how to get your armhole depth. Okay, I hope that is clear. The number 2 calculation is your bust span. That's the number 2 calculation. You can just measure the distance from one nipple to another. So mine is 7 inches, so half of it is going to be 3.5. okay, so how to get this bust span? So if you are unable to take the bust span on your client, all you need to do is to divide your bust. Okay, your bust divided by 8 minus 1. So if my bust is 34, so my bust is 34 divided by 8. Okay, so I'm going to have 4.5 minus 1 inch. I'll have 3.5. So half of my nipple span, my nipple to nipple measurement span, is going to be 3.5. So I hope you understand. So the 3rd calculation is your bust cup. So to get your bust cup, all you need to do is your round bust. Okay, your round bust, that is your bust circumference, minus your round under bust, that is your under bust circumference. So my round bust is 34. Okay, your round bust minus your under bust divided by 2. You divide it by 2. So my round bust is 34 minus my round under bust, which is 30. So 34 minus 30 divided by 2. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 divided by 2, and 2 inches is going to be my bust cup size. So that bust cup size, you can use it. So this 4 inches now, you can use it to determine your cup size. For instance, you want to get a cup at the market, you can use this 4 inches as your size cup. If yours is 6 inches, then your cup size is going to be 6 inches. Now this 4 divided by 2 now is to get your cup size, which will determine the dart intake you're going to be taking away from your darts. So now for instance, this is my dart. Okay, let's assume I want to take a princess dart bust here. So what that means is I'm going to be taking 2 inches towards this side like this. Okay, let's assume that I'm working with just my waistline here. Okay, if for instance you want to work with a princess dart bust here, so that 2 inches we got here is what you're going to use on this side. You use that 2 inches on this side. Now on this side, you can use from ½ inch to 1 inch. At times you can even just leave this place plain the way it is and just take your dart intake here. But then the answer you got after dividing this into 2, whatever you get here is what you're going to mark here. So if yours is 2 inches, if yours is 3 inches, you mark 3 inches here. If you now feel like the 3 inches is going to be much, or the 4 inches will be much, you can reduce it by ½ inch or 2. So the more that you have here, okay, the more pronounced your bust cup is going to be. It's going to look like. Okay, so what you're going to do is just come down from your bust line, can come down by ½ inch, and then you also go up by ½ inch. Okay, and that 1 inch you took here, you also need to mark your under bust. You need to mark your under bust out. So for instance, my under bust is 12 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to mark my under bust line of 12 inches. I'm going to mark it out like this. Okay, so after marking it out, you just mark that 2 inches you have at the waist. You also mark it at the under bust. You also mark that 2 inches at the under bust, and then you connect them together. You connect it together like this. Okay, and then you use your curve ruler to create a curve from your bust curve. You just create a curve like this. Okay, now on this side you can just take half an inch. On this side you take half an inch on this side. So I'm going to use half an inch here, and then you also connect it down. You connect what you have here, you connect it down like this, and you also bring this place down like this. Okay, you bring it down like this, and this is going to be your breast curve. So if you are doing a princess dart bustier, once you know half of your armhole, from there you are just going to connect your dart. You connect it to this place to create the curve, to create your bust curve. Okay, you can see what I have here now to create your bust curve. So that is it. So we are going to move to the next one. So the next one is the sleeve cap height, sleeve cap's height. Okay, so when you want to draft a sleeve, okay, so what I'm going to do now, this is the fourth one. Okay, so let's assume this is your fabric you want to use to cut out your sleeve, and here is your sleeve. So what you're going to do is to divide your bust. Okay, for your sleeve cap height, you're going to divide it by your bust divided by 12 plus 1 inch. Okay, so for my bust divided by 12 is 2.5 plus 1 inch I have. So my bust is 34 divided by 12. I have 2.5 plus 1 is equals to 3.5. Okay, so my cap sleeve height is what you're going to measure from down here, from here to where you have that 3.5. So if this is where I have the 3.5, so this is going to be my cap sleeve height, and then from there you connect your sleeve together to have something like this, and then you can just take in and shape your sleeve together. So you can see what I have now. So now the number 5th one is our off shoulder neckline. Now to get your off shoulder neckline, just add your bust span. Your bust span plus 1 inch is going to be your off shoulder neckline. So my bust span is 7 inches. Okay, so half of my is going to be half of your bust span. Sorry, it's going to be half of your bust span. Okay, half of your bust span plus 1 inch. So if half of my bust span is 3.5 plus 1 inch, I have 4.5. So this 4.5 is on fold. So that means when I open it up, my neckline is going to be 9 inches. But when I fold it together, I will have 4.5. So that is how to get your off shoulder neckline. So okay, this is a neckline for your off shoulder. Okay, this is a neckline. This is just a rough sketch. So right here is a neckline for your off shoulder. That's how off you want your off shoulder neck to look like. Now the 6th one is your off shoulder sleeve. Okay, is your off shoulder sleeve. Now whatever you have here, remember that I said mine is going to be 9 inches when I open it up. So that means I will have 9 inches at the front, then 9 inches at the back. Now 9 inches at the front plus 9 inches at the back, I will have 18 inches as my front and back neckline. Okay, so neckline, I have 18 inches for both front and back neckline. Okay, now my round shoulder, you now need to measure your round shoulder. You measure your round shoulder around. Now mine is 38 inches. Okay, my round shoulder is 38 inches. So to now get your sleeve, to get how you're going to determine your sleeve measurement, so you're going to say your round shoulder, which mine is 38, minus 18 inches, which is the neckline for both front and back. So what I have here is going to be 20 inches. Okay, so this 20 inches, since we will need this 20 inches is going to be for both sleeve, then you need to divide this 20 inches divided by 2, and you have 10. So that means each sleeve is going to be 10 inches. When you open it up, each sleeve will be 10 inches. But when you close it together, when you fold it, you have 5 inches on both sides of each sleeve. I hope you understand. You have 5 inches on both sides on each sleeve if you fold it together. But when you open it up, each sleeve is going to be 10 inches here, 10 inches here. I hope you understand. So when you are cutting an off shoulder sleeve, it's going to look like something like so. Let's assume this is your fabric. So from here to here, and let's assume this is your fabric, and this fabric is on fold. So what you do, since 10 inches is for each sleeve, you're going to measure half of this. You are going to measure half of this 10 inches, which means from here to here is going to be your 5 inches. Okay, and then the cap sleeve we measured here when we determining the cap sleeve. You also measure the cap sleeve down here, and then you connect it together like this. Okay, and here is going to be your off shoulder. So this part, this edge here is where you're going to stitch back to the neck area, from the neck down to your armhole area. I hope you understand. So this is going to be the number 7th one. So here is how to determine your crouch depth. Okay, crouch depth for your trouser. So what you need to do is to divide your hip. Okay, your hip divided by 4 minus 1 inch. But this minus 1 inch is optional. Okay, depending on how you want your trouser, where you want your trouser to start from. Okay, so for mine, my hip is 40 divided by 4. I have 10 inches. So most of the times I use 10 inches. I don't minus 1 inch from it. So the 10 inches, when I use 10 inches, is my trouser is always above my navel. Okay, but if you don't want your trouser to be above your navel, you want it to be below your navel, then you can minus 1 inch from your crouch. You can minus 1 inch from your hip, from the quarter of your hip. Another way is, I'm going to insert a picture here. So another way is to sit down on a flat surface and measure where you want your trouser to start from. You can just tie something around your waist, around where you have your waist, then you measure from there down to this flat surface, so that whatever you have there is going to be your crouch measurement. I hope you understand. So number 8 one is going to be the distance between your waist and hip line. Okay, so right here is my basic bodies. Okay, right here is my basic body. You can see that this is my waistline here, and this is my hip line. So what you need to do is to measure the distance you have from your waistline to your hip line, and mine is 7 inches. So that 7 inches you will also use it to determine your skirt. So let's assume this is my skirt. Okay, I'm just drawing this as my fabric. So this is my fabric, okay, and this fabric I folded it into two. Now here is going to be my waistline. So the distance from your waistline, okay, this is the waist here, this is the waistline here. So the distance from your waistline to your hip. So once you know what distance you have on your basic bodies, distance you have from your waist to your hip here, that is what you are going to measure from this waist down to your skirt. So if for instance now from here to here mine is 7 inches, I'll just mark the 7 inches here, and then I'll connect my waist to the hip and then shape out my skirt. Okay, so that measurement will allow you to know the distance between your skirt waist up to the hip. I hope you understand. The ninth calculation is going to be your dart length. So the dart length, when you are making your basic bodies, anytime you want to draft, let's say you want to draft your normal waist dart, okay, so you need to measure from your, let me just do another drawing here so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So if for instance this is our basic body here, okay, I'm just going to use this as an example. Okay, and this is our bust. Let's say this is my bust line here, this is my waistline, and this is my hip line. So you're going to take your darts. Okay, so your darts, you go from here to the hip line. You take your dart from your bust line to your hip line. Now when you want to now connect your dart, you need to come down 1 inch from your bust line. You come down 1 inch from your bust line. Now on your hip line, you go up by 2 inches from your hip line. Then you now go ahead and take your dart intake on both sides. You connect it together like this, okay, and you do it like this. So can you see what I'm, this is just a rough sketch, okay? So you come down from your bust line by 1 inch, okay, and from your hip line you go up by 2 inches, and then you connect your darts together when you're doing a waist dart and all of that. So but for the, this is for the front, but for the back, your dart is going to extend to your chest line. Okay, for the back dart, your dart will extend to the chest line. So our 10th calculation is going to be our half length. Okay, so to determine your half length, all you need to do is your under bust line plus 2 inches is going to be your half length. So for instance, this is my bust line. So here is my under bust. So here is my under bust. So whatever your under bust mark is, just mark 2 inches below your under bust. So 2 inches below your under bust is going to be your half length. So if you are someone that has a big tummy, 2 inches below your under bust is okay. But if you are someone that has a flat tummy, you can use 3 inches below your under bust. It's going to serve as your half length. I hope you understand. So the 11th is our flay. So to get your flay, we all know that the radius of a full circle is 6.28. Now for 180-degree peplum and 360-degree peplum, so the radius for a 360 flare is going to be 6.28, and we all know that 180-degree flare is half of 360-degree flare. So that means the radius, if the radius of a full circle is 6.28, so half of 6.28 is going to be 3.14. So if you are cutting 180-degree flare, so the radius is going to be half of this radius we have here, which is 3.14. okay, now when you want to cut a flare for your top, you know, we usually use the waist measurement. So what you will do now is your waist divided by the radius of any of this that you want to use. If for instance you want to cut a full circle, which is going to be a 360-degree peplum, okay, so whatever your waist is, you will divide it by 6.28. If you are making a half circle, then you're going to use this to divide your waist. So for instance, I want to cut a full circle and my waist is 32, so I'm going to say 32 divided by 6.28. okay, so whatever you have is going to be the radius. Okay, so for instance, this is a full circle like this. This is a full circle. Now this radius at the middle, so this space at the middle is your radius. This is where you are going to attach to the waist of your top. Okay, so now to determine this space that you need to attach to the waist of your top, that is why you need to divide your waist divided by 6.28. So whatever you now have after dividing these two together is what you will use to get the space that you will cut out on this circle. So for instance, if after dividing 32 divided by 6.28, if for instance mine is 4 inches, so I'm going to bring a paper to show us what we are going to do. Let's say this is my fabric. All the sides of this fabric has to be equal to cut a full circle. So you now fold it into 2, okay, and then you fold it again, making it into 4. So whatever you get here, which mine is 4, is what you are going to measure around here. Once you measure it around here, so the length of your peplum, you now start taking the length of your peplum from this mark you have here, you start taking it around like this, okay, and then once you get that, you go ahead and cut it out. Okay, and that is why you have a full circle. You have something like this. Okay, so this is a full circle. Now to cut a half circle, if you are cutting a half circle, the circle is quite different. Okay, just know what your radius is so that you'll be able to know how much fabric you need to fold. So once you fold it into 2 like this, okay, you now bring this part. Once you fold it into 2, so this part here will come and meet up with this folded part it will meet up with this folded part like this, and then you go ahead and also cut out whatever radius you have after you've divided your waist divided by 3.14. That is it for a full circle. Then after that, you also determine the length of your flare, and once you get the length of the flare, you cut it out. So you can see that this is half of what I cut out from this place. This is going to be half of what you cut out from this place. Okay, so I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Please consider to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you like this video, share this video so that others can watch. Thank you and bye.